Bangladeshi student arrested for alleged blasphemy in Bangladesh. Bangladeshi police have arrested a university student, Tiffy Sarkar, who went missing after being suspended from Jagannath University for hurting religious sentiments with an allegedly blasphemous Facebook post. Sarkar, a Hindu, had previously been missing for 2 weeks following allegations of posting derogatory remarks about Islam and the Prophet Muhammad. On October 23rd, she learned that one of her Facebook posts had gone viral, and she informed her sister that she had been locked out of her account for the previous 2 days. That evening, she went to the police and reported that her account had been hacked to the cybercrimes unit. By October 24th, local Muslims were congregating at her home, and a student group staged a protest at her university. She was last seen on October 25th, and her family filed a missing persons report on October 27th. October 25th and October 27th. On October 26th, Jagannath University issued a suspension order against her. On November 5th, Tiffy was sued under the notorious Digital Security Act for making allegedly derogatory comments online, which carries a maximum penalty of 7 years imprisonment and a fine. Details about the nature of her arrest were not immediately available. So I actually wanted to cover this story when she first went missing, and now there was a follow-up on the story that I thought it was important to highlight. So this has been an ongoing case. And I have some friends that I talked to in Bangladesh, and they thought it was really important to highlight this, especially given that when this incident first started to evolve, this is around the same time that a whole Hindu community had their homes set on fire due to someone in the community sharing a Facebook post that supported Macron, allegedly. And it was around the same time that a man was beaten to death, and then his body was burned in the middle of the highway for allegedly desecrating or mishandling a Quran. This story highlights several issues in Bangladesh. When she first went missing, a lot of the people that I was talking to in the community were telling me, like, it's how serious it is. Because at the time, we now know that she's alive. They're like, Susanna, like, there's only a few things that could have happened to her. Either she's been murdered or she's on the run. And based on this story, there are people saying that her abduction, or that she faked an abduction. I don't know if I would say that she faked an abduction, but it does seem like she did go into hiding. And given, I can talk a little bit more about what happens in Bangladeshi jail. But I would have gone into hiding too, because the nature of the threats against you in Bangladesh and the culture, the threats to her life are serious for the mere allegation of blasphemy. Also, based on what I've read, I haven't been able to find what the post was, and I haven't been able to find explicit detail about what was, allegedly so hurtful to religious sentiments. But what I was able to find was that it wasn't even necessarily anything regarding the Prophet Muhammad. It sounded like months ago she had an argument, maybe not even an argument, just discussion about Hinduism and Islam, and that conversation that had happened at one time later went viral recently, and that's what was found to be so quote unquote hurtful. I could be wrong. I haven't been able to find the posts myself, but it doesn't even seem like it was direct in criticism of Islam. But you guys go ahead.
Probably wasn't if she was surprised by even like she seemed like surprised by the reaction, right?
Yeah, she claims that her account was hacked.
Maybe she's saying that because she regrets what she posted, or whatever,
I mean,
right?
Given the deadly consequences of this, I would too.
Yeah. I mean, Bangladesh, there are a few countries that I'm really trying to not to give up on, but it makes it difficult. Like Bangladesh and Pakistan are the two countries. And surprise, surprise, they're Islamic. You know, the reason why a lot of people think about Iran and Saudi Arabia, but in Iran and Saudi Arabia, it seems like there is some ground change in the right direction, even though it's slow, even though it's a small percentage, even though the government is authoritarian and will come crush these people if they could find them. But it seems like the people's opinions on the ground at least is moving in the right direction. You know what I mean? When it comes to Iran and Saudi Arabia, Iran especially, for God damn it, not even actually with Iran, it's actually significantly in the opposite direction of Islam. But when it comes to, and even like if you look at Egypt, seems to be the opinions are moving in the right direction. Most North African Islamic countries, the opinions are moving in the right direction. Most Middle Eastern Islamic countries, the opinions of people are moving in the right direction. Lebanon. But then when you look at Bangladesh and Pakistan, it's not like Saudi Arabia and Iran. Okay, it's not just the government that is the problem. It's the people and the mob that are the problem, and it's not even getting better. It's getting worse, right? So this is why Bangladesh and Pakistan scare me. Like honestly, if I was in Pakistan and I was being accused of blasphemy, I want to get arrested so that the mob doesn't burn me alive. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because like the government, I would rather the government arrest me than be let the people take care of me, right? So unlike in Iran and Saudi Arabia, where the government is the main threat, in Pakistan and Bangladesh, the people are the main threat, which is much harder to solve.
After the police to get at you.
Yeah, I mean, the police are intimidated by the Muslim radicals, right? And again, it's always as difficult as it is to change the government, as almost close to impossible to like topple the government. For example, in Iran and Saudi Arabia, it's like very hard to do even if that's your plan. It's even more difficult to like, what are you gonna? The people, you can't change the people. Like the process of changing the opinions of people is even slower than changing the government, which makes me again.
Is why translation projects are so important. So become a patron, because when we get 500 patrons, we're going to start translating a lot of our content.
Right. Yes. Link to our patrons in the description. Okay. Katie is saying South Asian culture, worst regional culture, in my opinion, mixed with Islam, worst. Oh, wow. This is actually an interesting comment. So, South Asian culture, who Katie thinks is the worst regional culture, mixed with Islam, which is the worst religion, makes the worst possible combo. Wow. Oh, that's interesting. I've never looked at it like that. That's a very interesting take.
You're also biased.
Yes, you're also biased, but it's still interesting. The secular cultures are stronger in the Arab countries. Pakistan and Bangladesh is a tribe united by Islam. Interesting. Well, see, Hossein seems to agree. Rivka, you seem to want to say something? You're muted. Boomer.
Forgot what it is now that I wanted to say, but it was something along the lines of, what is it? What could it be? And I think that was it Hussein who made that comment about them being united only by Islam, and I'm not sure like what it is about that region versus what it is about other regions that make it seem to be more mob oriented in terms of how they're, what's going on at this moment. But there was something else I forgot what it was, but religion just has the most delicate feelings, apparently. I've noticed through all of this that it's the most delicate flower that exists on the planet.
Yeah. And so I also thought it was interesting when she was finally arrested. So I believe I think she's facing additional charges for allegedly faking her abduction. Now, faking an abduction, I don't know. She could have genuinely gone into hiding without her family knowing, and then her family authentically filing a missing persons report. Again, I have to deal with delays and the fallibility of translations, but this quote was interesting to me. Someone was Deputy Inspector General Jamil Ahmed addressed the press about this incident, saying, so apparently when she went on the run, she went and married her boyfriend and then maybe went to stay with her new in-laws for a little while. And then he made some posts about it. And so he was saying that basically her, now husband's false and misleading Facebook status and Tiffy's going into hiding are pre-planned and connected incidents. These are done to create anarchy in the country. Are you serious, my guy? Anarchy in the country? This is to create anarchy in the country. It's not because this girl is genuinely afraid for her life or what will happen to her once she is in prison. Are you kidding me? Because I was talking to my friend in Bangladesh about this, because like we were discussing earlier, there are some situations where you might actually be safer in the custody of the police. And so I was talking to my friend about this and saying, yes, she was arrested. And I was saying, do you think she's safer in police custody? You say, well, she's safe from machete-wielding vigilantes doing Allahu Akbar, but she will definitely face a lot of harassment and mistreatment from the police. Because she's a female, she's a Hindu, and she allegedly mocked Muhammad. So she's going to face unspeakable stuff while she's in police custody. So to say that someone is deliberately trying to create anarchy in the country because they're afraid of facing that level of mistreatment is insane.
Rivka, you're muted. Oh, there you go.
I want to say that, does this guy see that his government is so weak that one young woman and her boyfriend's Facebook status is capable of toppling an entire government and creating such horrific anarchy that it could bring down a country? Because that's what it sounds like he's saying, that they're so weak and ineffective and impotent that this one young girl and a Facebook status by her boyfriend are capable of creating such a huge problem and anarchy in the country. Again, it's this thing that somehow women seem to have this supernatural power often to create some sort of chaos, whether it be speaking,
their hair, their shoulders,
marrying the wrong person. I find it really interesting that he would put himself in such a weak position like that.
Thank you for joining us. Subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell thingy. If you haven't, I don't know why. What's holding you back? Okay? If you haven't subscribed to our channel, why haven't you subscribed to our channel? Explain that to us, please. Like, bell, and also if you're not getting notifications and stuff because YouTube is not telling people that we have shows, because YouTube is like, oh, this person told us that they want to get your shows, right? They want to get your videos, but nah, we think is no. And they also hit the bell button, but nah, you guys are too controversial. We want to show them mainstream stuff. We want to show them CNN or cat videos or whatever. But people are like, no, we want to see Atheist Republic. And YouTube is like, no, we don't think you want this. They're like, no, please show it to us. We say to you, we want to see Atheist Republic. And YouTube is like, no, we think we know what's better for you than you yourself. So to solve that, there's a link in the description, which is to our newsletter. So hopefully we could email it to you. So hopefully you get some of our content that way. Okay. So yeah, subscribe to our newsletter as well, and share our videos, because we do get demonetized. That's an obvious on every one of our videos. So F that. But we don't care about that anymore. But we also get deprioritized, and that's even more damaging to us. Deprioritized. What does that mean? That means we don't show up on the suggested, videos on the right, and all that, on people's homepages. And that's how channels grow. Unfortunately, we can't grow. So we need you guys to share our videos.